Breaking now. This is a dire warning to Truth Unsealed viewers regarding the President of the United States. We believe President Trump is about to enact martial law throughout the United States, which will temporarily limit the freedom of its citizens, with severe repercussions for violators. This is for the purpose of arresting deep state traitors using sealed indictments and setting up military tribunals, just as was done during World War II. This includes deep state actors with names as common as Clapper, Mueller, Brennan, Obama, and Clinton to finally bring them to justice. Is Donald Trump finally about to drain the swamp? The truth and 4,500 sealed indictments is about to be unsealed. David Zublik here with Truth Unsealed, where you'll learn what they don't want you to know. President Donald Trump is planning to carry out a series of mass arrests of deep state traitors operating within the United States, including Andrew McCabe, Peter Strzok, James Comey, and former President Barack Obama. In order for him to do this, it will be necessary for Donald Trump, using recently uncovered documents, to impose martial law on the United States of America. Now, this will be a temporary martial law, but it will enable the president to control mass violence, which is expected to erupt from the far left upon the implementation of these mass arrests. In Part 1 of our two-part investigative report, we examine how the President plans to carry out these mass arrests and who some of the traitors are that are going to be rounded up and tried in military tribunals at Guantanamo Bay. Hold on to your hats, folks. It's about to get very, very rough. The truth is about to be unsealed. Here are some documents that have recently been uncovered that back up these claims. The Blocking the Property of Persons Involved in Serious Human Rights Abuse or Corruption document. Now, this document specifically describes the crimes of Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, James Comey, and Robert Mueller under the corruption section, alluding to the Uranium One scandal and Obama's multi-billion-dollar money laundering operation that handed nuclear weapons capabilities to Iran. It says that the executive order targets any foreign person determined by the Secretary of the Treasury in consultation with the Secretary of State and the Attorney General to be a current or former government official or a person acting for or on behalf of such an official who is responsible for or complicit in or has directly or indirectly engaged in corruption, including the misappropriation of state assets, the expropriation of private assets for personal gain, corruption related to government contracts, or the extraction of natural resources or bribery. Now, this describes precisely what Clinton, Comey, Mueller, Obama, Brennan, McCabe, and others carried out under the Obama regime. These are more than just felony federal crimes. They are acts of treason against the United States of America, carried out during a time of declared war. From that document, here is President Trump's declared national emergency. I therefore determine that serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world constitute an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, and economy of the United States, and I hereby declare a national emergency to deal with that threat. In the second document, Executive Order 13618, signed on July the 6th of 2012 by President Obama, the assignment of National Security and Emergency Preparedness Communications Function, this executive order grants the President absolute control over all U.S. media, including Internet tech giants such as social media, news networks, and news websites. It specifically names communications that support continuity of government, federal, state, local, territorial, and tribal emergency preparedness and response communications, non-military executive branch communication systems, critical infrastructure protection networks, and non-military communications networks, particularly with respect to prioritization and restoration. In the third document, Executive Order 13825, signed March the 1st, 2018, the 2018 amendments to the Manual for Courts Martial United States, although much more difficult to read, this document essentially establishes the preservation of the government's right to prosecute crimes of treason and deep state collusion against America, all of which may be prosecuted via military tribunals under existing U.S. law. This would allow deep state traitors to be arrested by military police and subjected to military trials run by the Pentagon, completely bypassing the corrupt court system, which has been deliberately stacked with complicit deep state traitors and resistance judges. To accomplish this, President Trump must announce temporary martial law. Now, for the record, I wholly support this effort to arrest and prosecute the thousands of deep state traitors who become a cancer upon America. Were you aware that James Comey was a communist? John Brennan, of course, has remained a communist for his entire adult life. And Barack Obama was a radical Muslim who despised America and worked every day to undermine it through a variety of nefarious means, including allowing U.S. military encryption technology to be captured by Iran via the U.S. drone GPS spoofing incident. For starters, Barack Obama personally authorized the illegal Spygate spying on Trump campaign officials. Barack Obama also allowed China to hack 21 million U.S. military personnel records, effectively dumping the entire U.S. Pentagon database into the hands of Communist China. Look, folks, this is very important. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, John Brennan, Andrew McCabe, Loretta Lynch, Peter Strzok, and a long list of other traitors have been conspiring for years to destroy the United States of America from within and see it replaced with a communist regime run by authoritarian globalists. Tech giants like Apple, Google, and Facebook are all part of this plan, which is exactly why you've seen every one of them working closely with China to roll out authoritarian techno-tyranny infrastructure systems that plan to enslave every citizen of the world, making them powerless and obedient to a globalist technocracy that runs the one world government. Now, Trump's plan to rescue the United States from the globalists will require temporary martial law in order to halt this global dictatorship and defend America against traitors who are working to destroy it. President Trump must carry out the following actions. First, achieve the release of the declassified, unredacted deep state documents from within the FBI and the DOJ that will reveal the full extent of deep state treason against America. The FBI and DOJ are currently stalling this effort, furthering their treason against America and proving they have a lot to hide. Pelosi, Schumer, Schiff, and Warner have already committed acts of treason in calling on the FBI and DOJ to defy this presidential order. Second, invoke the national emergency powers which are constitutionally granted to the executive branch of government. Technically, this already happened in 2017. Third, invoke President Obama's Executive Order 13618 and seize control of Google, Facebook, CNN, the Washington Post and the New York Times to halt the treasonous lies, coordinated election fraud, and political coup attempt which is being run by all of these traitors of America. Fourth, use all controlled communication channels to publicly declare the details of the crimes and the criminal actors which have been committed against America. Disclose everything to the American people about how their country has been overrun and destroyed from within. Fifth, order military police to find and arrest thousands of deep state traitors who've been deliberately undermining America from within. This will include hundreds of people inside the FBI and the DOJ, plus hundreds more in the State Department and other agencies. Arrests must also include traitorous, corrupt federal judges who have deliberately undermined America, for example, blocking Trump's constitutional travel ban to protect America from enemy terrorists. Many traitors will attempt to flee the country, of course, and they'll need to be located and brought to justice like former Nazi war criminals. Sixth, issue an executive order demanding national voter ID for all future elections. No longer will America tolerate democracy being stolen by the votes of illegals who are granted voting rights by California and other complicit anti-American states or cities. Seventh, suspend elections during the military tribunals, but lay out a timeline for the restoration of elections and nationwide voting with voter ID in place to restore the rule of law and give America back to the American people. Eighth, deploy the U.S. military along the southern border. Use the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to build the wall. Ninth, promise to resign the presidency once the rule of law is restored in America, signaling to the American people that Trump plans to hand over power to the next elected president within a reasonable time period. Americans will rightly be concerned about martial law morphing into a military dictatorship. Trump needs to assure the American people that his job is to destroy the deep state, restore the rule of law, then get out of the way to retire as the greatest U.S. president in history, the president who saved America from traitors and communists.